So, much love and appreciation to those of you who have been with me for the 2 year period plus that I've been doing this. Thank you for showing your love and support to the channel. And to anybody else who is brand new to the platform and you would like to support the channel, also you can do it by way of Patreon, Anchor, the clothing store, and also the shoe shop that is listed in the comment description below. And again, thank you to any and all of you guys who have been here to support this channel during the 2+ year period. I wouldn't be able to do what I do every single day without you.
Y'all, our water in Texas is now contaminated with parasites. If y'all in Texas, please do not drink the water. The water is now contaminated in Texas, y'all. They're sending warnings out telling people do not drink the water.
Sir, please, sir.
Do not brush your teeth with the water. Do not wash your face with the water. So pretty much they tell y'all to run the water to keep the pipes from freezing. But yeah, the water in Texas now has parasites, y'all. Do not drink the water. Please share this video.
Put the camera on.
It is very important.
Put the light on.
Do not drink the water, y'all.
So y'all supposed to see this is actually coming out of our water.
This is coming out the faucet, y'all.
Who needs to focus?
It's supposed to come.
Being y'all.
Videos and just trying to make the best out of this, and then when we got the message to check our water, to not use the water, to boil it for 5 minutes, we just wanted to check it, and so this is what we came up with. I don't know what the hell this is. They're telling us not to even wash our face with it.
I don't even know if that I don't even know if that die if you boil it.
Yeah, that's why they telling us we can't wash our face.
This is terrible.
Folks in Texas know. I need to tag that post that they had. Oh, video.
Please share this video. Let everybody know that Texas is in a state of emergency.
Video.
Please share this video. Let everybody know that Texas is in a state of emergency.
Video.
Please share this video. Let everybody know that Texas is in a state of emergency. People don't have food here. People doesn't have electricity here. People is freezing to death here. Even the people that has cars, they can't even go back out and sit in their cars, charge their phones up, try to reach out to anybody because the gas stations are completely out of gas. The 87 gas has been told that it's frozen. They was only having 93 gas as well, and that gas is running out now. So, with that being said, people cannot even go in their cars to warm up.
It's good. Keep right there.
They all dead at the bottom. Ew.
Oh my God, my sister picked it up and said they all dead at the bottom. Pick it up for the whole world to see this. Oh my God. Oh my God, look. So they still want us to drink it, y'all. They all dead. So, oh my God, I'm gonna cry. Hold it up, put it in the air. Hold it in the air. Oh my God, I'm gonna throw up. I'm gonna fucking die. I'm gonna die.
Our water
Straight
in
in shit.
Texas
This
is now
Texas
contaminated with
outside.
parasites.
I'm not gonna go out.
If y'all...
Alright, because I know it's a long video and I pretty much know that, people don't make it towards the very end. So the main thing that I want to say, at least at this point, since it's still early, is that for a lot of the people that are in Texas, I don't care what race, I don't care what you are. Don't drink the water. I don't know exactly what's in it. I don't know what type of parasites those are. I don't know what type of illnesses they may bring. I don't know what they could do. Because the last thing that I remember that happened in Texas with the water is that a young child ended up having a brain-eating amoeba that ended up taking his life. Right? And, this is already at a point in time where you have, a lot of people, some people, which I've seen on Twitter, they lost everything. Right? Some people have to watch their whole house burn up. Everything in there because they don't have water. The firefighters don't have the water or the water pressure in order to put out the fires. Right? So, you know, please do not drink the water. Do not feed it to your pets. Do not give it to your kids. As the video showed you, even after I'm not sure how long they left that water out, the parasites were dead at the bottom. So it's like, even if you boil your water in order to cook it, you still have to worry about the parasites, dead or alive, right, still being there, right? Nobody's telling you if these parasites are breeding, if they're releasing any type of, you know, eggs that are even smaller than the parasites that you're able to see wiggle around in that glass of water. Like I said, for your safety, for the safety of your family and your pets, please do not drink that water.
And he joins me now. Julian, how are things in your hometown of San Antonio right now?
Well, I think what you talked about reflects the way things are going down here in San Antonio. A lot of people still without power, a lot of people without water. Because of the cold weather, many of the old pipes have burst, and that's caused this cascading effect. No power, no water. Folks, because stores are closed and grocery stores have very long lines, people are not able to get their medication. Seniors here have had to be evacuated to a warming center downtown, and they're talking about opening up other ones because it's supposed to freeze again overnight. You have a lot of people, especially the most vulnerable folks in this community, under a lot of stress.
You know, you just mentioned seniors, and I've been thinking a lot about them and sort of talking to folks throughout the last 24 hours. In the famous heat wave in Chicago that killed, 800 plus people, it was mostly seniors who were living alone who were caught in that heat wave. And are there systems?
I need to point out these warming centers. They're telling people at the warming centers that if you want to go, if you want to go to warming center to warm up, you got to take the vaccination. So it's still a ploy. You know what's going on. I don't have to say anything more. Everybody's here. So don't even try to go to get yourself at a warming station. You don't need to do it if that's the case, because nobody needs to be chipped.
Systems in place to check on seniors who are living alone under these conditions and get them to safety and warmth.
There's some, but Chris, the way that a lot of folks, I think, have had their attention called to this has been through social media. Somebody will say that my grandmother is stuck in her house. She needs her insulin. She doesn't have power. She doesn't have water. Or a neighbor will call another neighbor. I heard from two of my neighbors who were medically compromised that needed to be evacuated to a hotel because they no longer had power. And this is becoming the worst state-level policy disaster since the Flint water crisis. And as you pointed out, we have state leadership, Governor Abbott, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, that want to point fingers at everything except...
Texas is the only state, that can actually control its own electricity outside of the rest of the United States. In other words, they can actually be their own country. There was no reason for them to ever go have this electricity go out or be a water shortage. This was done by design. They're trying to freeze you out, starve you out, and they're trying to take you out, what they're trying to do.
That's the problem. For the last few decades, they have been the problem. This is not the breakdown of the system. This is a system that is broken down by design. It's designed not to incentivize weatherization of these facilities. It's designed not to incentivize being prepared for a cold weather event like this. And on top of that, a lot of people are probably going to get the highest electricity bill that they've ever had when this is done, even though they don't have power right now, because the way that the system that ERCOT runs allows for
There's a simple passive
for price spikes that are absolutely through the roof, more than 300% over the last few days. And so this is just the beginning of this human-level disaster and economic disaster for a lot of families.
Yeah, someone posted today, said a friend of a friend had gotten this bill, and they posted a screenshot of a bill, which was $1,622.14 for 2 weeks of power, which is wild. when you talk about this state failure, I mean, we've got news tonight. There's some FEMA activation happening. There's some generators being rolled out by the federal government. You know, Texas is a state that is obviously.
We all know FEMA is not here to help us. FEMA simply wants. When I say here, it doesn't mean in Texas. Anyways, FEMA wants. Listen, they're FEMA death camps. The police told on them. They got caught doing stuff to people they had no business doing. This is some years back when Trump declared a state of emergency. So listen, if you ain't hip by now, you must be dead asleep. And FEMA doesn't help you.
Historically, famously, and fiercely independent, it was its own republic. Is there a federal role here? I mean, I'm looking at the weather forecast. I'm hearing the stories. You've got this potable water situation now, which has been produced by this tripwire, you say. 2 or 3 more days of freezing temperatures. Like, something's got to give here, right? Should there be more federal involvement?
Oh, I hope there is, and I think there will be. You already saw how promptly the Biden administration approved a declaration of
federal involvement. No, you don't need the federals involved, because when the federal gets involved, it's involved in the federal banks, which is done by Rothschild, Bilderberg, and all these other groups, New Order, who control the fucked up shit that happens in the world. And then what does that mean for you? Think about that.
Of emergency for the state. Look, the thing is, 7 million Texans right now are on a boil water notice, and a lot of them are wondering, how are we supposed to boil our water when we don't have electricity? And not only that, how are you supposed to boil your water when a lot of them don't have running water? And these state leaders basically want you to go out there and collect the melting snow in a bucket and put that over a campfire at your home. It's these Neanderthalic policies. And
the snow's not even real. When you burn the snow, it turns black. It doesn't even melt. A lot of folks in Texas is talking about this stuff now. You'll be surprised.
The greed that has driven them, that means the federal government is actually right now our best hope to get some relief. How do they do that? Well, the emergency declaration was a good start. Expertise that can help get the grid back online as quickly as possible. On top of that, emergency aid to people who need immediate housing at hotels and other places, people who are homeless right now, the most vulnerable people out there. And in the long term, helping to rebuild a grid that is more reliable and put the reliability back into ERCOT so that it actually means something for the people of Texas. The other thing in the long run is that we need different leadership in this state that's actually, that actually believes in governance. Don't ever put people who don't believe in government in charge of government. This is another example of that. It's playing itself out, unfortunately, right in front of people's eyes.
All right, so some of you guys might be wondering, why did I even bother to mention that while there is a crisis going on right now? And the reason why I wanted to mention Flint is because a lot of people forgot about it.
Right.
Because a lot of people did not go through that. A lot of people don't care about what takes place in Michigan or anywhere that's close to Detroit. And a lot of people don't care about a population who they feel is insignificant and that is not reflective of the greater majority that is out there. And also for those who might have done their research on Flint, they might have learned that at this moment in time, as the title states from this article, Flint has clean water now. Why won't people drink it? In the city synonymous for half a decade with disaster, something remarkable happened in February of 2019. A team of researchers reported that Flint's homes, even the ones at the highest risk of undrinkable lead-poisoned tap water, finally had clean running water through their pipes. After years of painstaking cleanup and rebuilding, the study's results were a sparkling capstone. Earlier tests already hinted at good news, and this one confirmed it. In the vast majority of homes, lead levels were 5 parts per billion or better, far better even than the strictest regulations in the country. But a few weeks later, another equally remarkable thing happened. As part of a United Nations-sponsored World Water Day celebration, the city of Flint parked 12 semi-trailers stacked with pallets of bottled water on the city street corner, offering them to any city resident who could show an ID. People flocked to the pickup location. They lined up with their cars and popped their trunks to collect cases of water to use in their homes. Water in bottles from somewhere else that they could actually trust. Like I said, I just wanted to bring that up as a reminder to people that the things that, you know, a lot of people don't want to pay attention to, and they feel that's below them, or they don't want to directly look at the situation because it has nothing to do with them or theirs. Very easily, the situation that happened in Flint could happen anywhere in the United States. And you clearly see by the videos that I showed you previously what's transpiring in Texas, right? They don't have any power, right? You have a lot of people that are freezing. You have a lot of people that are more than likely suffering from injuries, right, due to the cold. You have a lot of people that are going hungry, right? You have a lot of people that are going through flooding. The mass majority of people can't even drink their water. They have to boil it because it now has parasites in the water. So, you know, like I said before, you know, this should be a little bit of a reminder, right, for people to be mindful of other situations that transpire. Because like I said earlier, any of these situations, especially the one that happened in Flint, it can easily be you at any given time, on any given Sunday. Because as I told you guys before, the government does not care about you. And they're continuously showing you these things by what they allow to happen to you, to your family, and to your community. So, you know, like I said before, I realistically, you know, just dealing with that video, I don't know what else to even tell people. I don't. Because as soon as the power comes back on, as soon as everything gets back in motion and people are able to, you know, clean up and pick back up where they left off, everybody's going to forget about this.
Right, all stupid.
Right, it's going to be out of the year. It's going to be only that little moment that people are going to, you know, reflect on. Some people still might, you know, have trouble breathing even thinking about it because of what they had to face, you know, for the first time. Some people might, you know, decide to, you know, laugh about it or different things of that nature, right? But the main thing that I'm trying to get through to people is that this is something that you should mark down, that you should keep track of, because they're showing you bit by bit what they're willing to do and what they're willing to allow and what they're not going to do. And for a lot of the Texans that might be listening here or that are going through this right now, the government is showing you, your government, because, you know, Texas likes to be separate. They're showing you what they're willing to allow, which is they're willing to allow you to die. They're willing to allow your kids to pass. If you have anybody that is in need of medical, they're willing to allow them to pass as well. They're not really, in a sense, sending you or looking for any type of help. They 100%, your local government, the officials that you decided to vote in and govern over you, put you directly in the circumstances and in the predicament that you are in at this moment in time. But like I said before, people always want to go on some whole thing of Democrat and Republican. This is government at the end of the day. Better yet, I'm going to let somebody else make a better example of what I'm talking about.
There is a class genocide taking place right now all across Texas. The state power grid is privatized by a company called ERCOT, and at least 2 days ago they announced that they would be implementing rolling blackouts, which suggested that they would share the power with all customers, all people throughout the state who rely on their services because they have no other choice. The idea was to have cycles where some households had power and others didn't, and then they could switch off so that everyone across the state could keep their homes at least relatively warm, in temperatures that are ranging from 0 to 20 degrees, in homes that aren't built for this. They're not insulated. But what's actually happened is, if you look at a map of the areas with the most outages, it's the poorest zip code, and the wealthiest areas in the same cities have power. Those that ERCOT hasn't prioritized. The poorest people are going 40 hours now without power, without heat. This is what eco-fascism looks like.
So,
40 hours?
the main thing that I want people to understand, right, is that beyond all of the things that I normally talk about on this platform, right, the main thing that is taking place, right, is class warfare. When I was younger, my mother told me, when I was in middle school, that by the time you get older, that they're going to, pretty much shrink down the middle class, or pretty much have it non-existent, right? So it would, in a sense, be the poor, and it would be the rich. And in a sense, that's where we are, or we're at least close to whatever goal that they're trying to, set. But it's very hard for a lot of people to see and understand that, because there's a lot of other things that we have to deal with.
Safely shop for
that are real, right? That we have to deal with on an everyday basis. That we have to, fight with, and that we have to talk about, and different things of that nature. But behind all of that, it is the main thing that I've always expressed in a lot of the videos, where you have these rich individuals, right, who own the greatest shares of the world, right, but yet they only make up 1% or less of the actual population, but they own so much of the planet, right, so much of the resources, right, of the energy, of the food supply, of the water supply, and also the things that are put in the atmosphere, right? That's the real issue. That's the real problem, right? But like I told people before, I meet people where they are. So in a sense, before we can, in a sense, even decide to touch that issue, we have to deal with a lot of ground issues first. A lot of glaring, ground issues first. And that takes up a lot of time. Right? And we really don't have much time to, really try to debate and to go over the same exact thing that we've been talking about for, years and decades and different things of that nature. So, like I said, for everybody that's here, I'm happy that you're paying attention and that you decided to, stay tuned and, listen to whatever it is that I have to say in this video, right? And to black people, I'm hoping that, a lot of us will wise up and look at the writing that is on the wall, right? And pay attention to what everybody else is doing, right? Because if you realistically want to survive, you have to survive as a community. You have to survive as a group, right? You can't keep having the same squabbles, right? The same beefs. Like a lot of the stuff that we argue over in the black community is 1,000% stupid. Because at the end of the day, if any of this that happened in Texas were to hit any of the black communities out here, people wouldn't even know what to do. I bet you in a quick minute, a lot of the things that normally transpire that we hear of every single day, I bet you that's going to subside. Because people are more worried about how to get clean water. People are going to be more worried about, taking a bath or getting their kids a bath, or, cooking food, or, how are we going to make it through the week, or how we're going to make it through the next 3 days. Right? Like I said before, black people, we got a lot of stuff that we need to get in line with, and we need to, you know, get in shape real quick. Because like I said before, all of this, just for a reminder for a lot of people out there, all of this stuff that you just so happen to see, these are trials. These are tests that they put out there to see mentally how you're going to react to the conditions that are basically given. These are all tests. Like I said before, just like whenever, you know, there's blackouts or flooding, and all of those are tests because they want to see what's going to stick and what will cause chaos and what's not going to stick and what people really aren't going to budge about. Right? And the things that happen to cause the most chaos, that happen to spark the most noise, you're going to see more of that and less of whatever it is that they tried before. If you don't believe me, go look at some government documents that are unclassified and look at the variety of different tests and trials that they have tried on American citizens and American communities. Or just look at American history and look at a lot of the tests and different things that they've done to, you know, mentally condition people into a way of life and a way of thinking. And look at how we're programmed through advertising to, you know, want to buy certain things or feel that we really, 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 really need this in our life. Or even if you're not